Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I am Mike. Thanks for taking a moment of your day to spend it with me today. And today we're talking about Witchboard, a movie that I have a deep-seated memory and nostalgia for deep down in my cockles. And with this April bringing us an exorcism movie and a possession movie with The Pope's Exorcist and then Evil Dead Rise, it seemed the perfect time to do a deep dive into the Witchboard franchise. Not to mention the recent news that the movie was being remade with the Dream Warriors, The Blob, and Mass director Chuck Russell, who's going to be doing an entirely new take on the movie. And if you like getting deep inside of things, horror franchises, you sick fuck, deep dives in old franchises and things like that, do me a favor, click that subscribe button and the bell, because only 20% of you guys watching this are actually subscribed to the YouTube channel. And if you don't have the notifications on, YouTube likes to hide us more than a legend from the hidden temple, so we can be hard to find. So 1986's Witchcraft, directed by Kevin Tenney, who also directed Night of the Demons. We're introduced to the start of this film, which is your typical 80s 38.5-minute long credit opening sequence. And I have no idea why the fuck they do that. The good news here is we have an amazing, ultra-nostalgic, creepy as fuck Twizzlers 80s score to keep us happy.
Oh, come on, Roger. Now, you can't honestly count someone like Jim here as intelligent life, can you?
I'm gonna get another drink.
Like father, like son, huh?
And here we're introduced to another 80s trope, the love triangle. Now, this isn't as bad as, say, like Killer Clowns, where I'm pretty sure they had a threesome afterwards, but it is frustrating. You see Linda here played by the late, great Tawny Kitaen, and yes, that Tawny Kitaen of Whitesnake and Bachelor Party fame, and who was always a super sweetheart on the horror convention circuit if you got the chance to meet her. She has for some reason invited her super uptight, definitely knows how to sail, and more condescending than your stepfather ex-boyfriend, Brandon, over, knowing that he and her devil-may-care and Han Solo cosplayer who learned to drink dramatically from Kevin Bacon and Footloose, Jim, hate each other deeply.
I love you.
I know.
So as these two are playing Whose Cock Is It Anyway, a dick-measuring game for weirdos, Linda is inexplicably flirting with Men's Warehouse for Psychos here while he explains to them that A, he brought a Ouija board over and can connect with a young spirit named David as a party trick.
Well, David was 10 when he died, not 8. Besides, we have a special signal that no other spirit knows.
And B, her boyfriend is an alcoholic like his dad. Oh, and don't forget the best part, C, where to make the Ouija board work, they have to rub their legs together sexually to make it pure.
So that the energy flowing through us to the planchette is as strong as it can be.
Jim is somehow okay with all this going on, but he's a smartass while the whole seance thing's going on, and he ends up pissing off the spirit of the young 10-year-old boy named David, who then cuts off the connection and pops one of Brandon's car's tires outside.
What was that noise?
Sounded like a gunshot. Who owns the Red Cobra?
I do. Why?
Your tire's history, bud.
So later, while Jim's talking to his buddy Lloyd, who, as I like to call him, is just 80s Tom DeLonge.
Sucker, you could have killed me.
No, then you'd come back and you haunt me and flatten my tires and stuff.
We, the audience, find out that Brandon and Jim were actually best friends growing up, inseparable, always at each other's houses, and that they grew apart over time, and now Brandon is still in love with Linda. Shocker. I mean, look at her. And he thinks that Jim is the reason that they broke up so many years ago. Now, if you're getting bored, Witchboard, a giant sheet of rock falls and smashes Lloyd to death. Final Destination style. Snicky. This scene here perfectly encapsulates why I love this movie so much. The sudden death, the weird mood of the entire thing. Something that just seems more tragic about the deaths in this movie than your typical 80s fare. Well, most of them at least. Then there's some awesome camera shots and musical needle drops, like the way the camera pans out to the hatchet here.
David, are you here? David, where are you?
Man, don't tell me you bought that crap with Brandon and that board.
Back home, Linda and her astronaut-sized brain decides to make PB&J with a little spirit demon that just popped her friend's tire.
You mean drain? Like a sink drain? Which sink? The kitchen?
At first, he's all helpful and he helps her find her long missing ring, and it's at this point where I would be freaking the fuck out and calling the news, or I don't know, doing something. But no, Linda just keeps fucking with the dead kid, and now Linda's about to find out about the dead kid. She starts acting crazy, so everyone naturally just assumes she's pregnant. And to make things worse, they encounter this detective at Lloyd's funeral who comes up to him and makes a whole bunch of magic puns to just try to say that, hey, I think you fucking did this. I think you killed your friend, and I'm gonna keep a finger in you. I mean, an eye on you. Maybe both.
Lieutenant, we're not really talking about magic here, are we?
No.
So it's at this point that Boatman Brandon shows up to Jim's construction site and tells him he's concerned about Linda not showing up for class. Instead of asking him why the fuck he's worried about what his girlfriend's doing and why she's not at class, he obliges him.
Okay, can you be serious for 1 minute, please?
I'll give it a shot.
And a hilarious yet dead-ass serious interaction between these two, brought to you by Stephen Nichols' incredible overacting here.
Damn it, Jim, I'm serious!
I know. That's what makes it so funny.
Not a complaint, by the way. I think it's awesome, and it's probably why he's been had a successful acting career and been in 1,615 episodes of Days of Our Lives. Is it overacting? Yes. Do I still love it? Absolutely yes. Even the emotional, like, deep dialogue scenes between friends here that would be corny in any other movie and is still kind of corny here, it's just entertaining because of how much passion these guys put into it.
Because you're not capable of giving a shit about anyone but
Shut
yourself.
up, Brandon.
And when you get tired of Linda, you're gonna walk away from her too.
Shut up, Brandon.
Just like you did with school. Just like you did with your parents. Just like you did with... Shut up!
So it's at this point that Brandon hilariously asks Jim, he says, has she been doing anything very out of character for her? Like, say, curse words? He's like, yeah, she's been cursing lately. That is actually kind of weird, and she's been sick. She has been acting strange. And at this point, Brandon's like, look, I have bad news for you, my friend. I think she's been playing with my Ouija.
I think Linda's been using my Ouija.
And you look down, he's actually holding a Ouija board. But he tells him, look, I need to bring a medium over to your apartment tonight. Linda's currently a portal for this demon, and it's slowly possessing her.
He starts to frighten and terrorize her, gradually breaking down her resistance. And once that's done, he's able to possess her.
Now this ends in them having a deep conversation about Jim's feelings and how he quit med school because he can't fall in love with a woman, and it's all so damn emotional and deeply conceived. Who says men can't fight with their feelings? Meanwhile, the spirit Linda be fucking around with at home traps her in her apartment and forces her to watch it pour ketchup on a steak knife. And at that point, Jim's like, okay, bring your medium over. I think we fucked up. Enter Brandon's friend and the medium of the film, Zarabeth, who is absolutely every bit as obnoxious as the spelling of her name. I mean, who the fuck calls himself Zarabeth?
The best medium in Northern California.
Hi.
Played by Kathleen Wilhoit, who's by no means a bad actress or annoying actress or anything. She's been in everything from Roadhouse to Fire in the Sky, and she's usually quite likable. Here, however, they have her doing a weird Pauly Shore Donatello impression that is, for me, right up there with Tina from Halloween 5 and the kid from The Babadook as some of the most annoying characters in horror.
Just some more psychic humor. Come on, Brandy, let's hit the musty dusty.
She does this weird pop can version of an exorcism, and a poor little David goes, I'm sorry, I was being a dick, I'll leave. And then Linda, making awesome decisions as usual, changes her mind. I was like, no, I want you to stay.
What?
I don't know, maybe I should have given him more of a chance, you know? I mean, he's not evil, he's just like a little boy.
So fucking Zarabeth, tells Brandon on the way home that something's off and she'll call him later. She goes home to a really dumb decorated apartment that looks like a Teen Cosmo collage threw up all over it, realizes through books, not Google, but books, that the demon was actually someone else entirely. The actual demon shows up and slashes her throat before tossing her off the balcony and onto a sundial. I don't know what a sundial is. Jim and Brandon have a shirt on, half shirt off, heart to heart in the hallway and discuss Zarabeth's death and Linda's absolute inability to make a half-decent decision. They don't kiss even though we're all rooting for it, but they do get really emotional, and Brandon says he's going to Big Bear, where David supposedly died, to figure out something that will help. Meanwhile, Linda's attacked by the spirit again, who basically turns her into Jim Carrey in the bathroom scene from Liar Liar and leaves her with a concussion.
Kicking my ass! Do you mind?
where the doctor also says, guess what? You're not pregnant. Guess you should have, I don't know, taken a fucking pregnancy test or something? Jim goes with Brandon, who inexplicably is not left for Big Bear yet. They do the mandatory horror movie scan the newspapers in a library scene and find out the truth moment, and they have an even deeper heart-to-heart in the hotel room where they become best friends again and maybe lovers, but they don't show that part. I mean, you're not going to not get Randy Jackson's autograph on a katana sword. They decide to go play Ouija in the place where David died, and that leads us to the best scene in the entire movie. They decide to go play Ouija in the place where David died, and that leads us to the best scene in the entire movie. So they break out this dope as fuck Ouija board. I've never seen anything like it. It's blue. I want one so badly. So they start to ask David all these questions, and he tells them, no, this other demon basically is the thing that exorcised me out of the apartment, and it's still there, and it's evil, and its name is Malfator. Malfator. Masturbator. Please don't haunt me.
Here! Malfator is here.
But he can't be. That would mean that.
And then in this crazy scene, Brandon stands up, and it's so quick and it happens so fast. And it just adds this meanness to it because you've learned so much about this character who was a total douche in the beginning of the movie, but you learn to kind of really appreciate him because he really cares about people. He's actually not that bad of a guy. He just looks like an asshole. But the way he dies in this scene, the axe just flies towards his head, cracks him right in the middle of the forehead, the hatchet does, and he's done. I mean, a blood splatter on the ground like when Dewey got fucked up in Scream 5, and he's gone. And there's something really quick and just super mean about that, and like just, I want to say realistic because it's not that. It's really fucked up. It kind of makes you feel weird in your insides. And then Jim wakes up, and in this ultimate script tying around scene, he holds his dead friend with this nasty ass axe wound in his forehead and actually cries. And they made a big thing about it throughout the movie how he doesn't really love anybody. He's never even cried before. So this moment where he cries for his frenemy, it's like this whole script tying in moment. Then Jim goes and gets some books and learns about this demon Malfator. God damn it, which is it? Kanda. He learns about this demon, and this demon was the most underused plot of this entire movie. He is so freaky looking. He looks like the waxwork version of the most interesting man in the world from the Dos Equis commercials, possessed by the devil himself, or maybe the spirit of Ezra Miller, if you're nasty. And he's seriously frightening when he's shown. I really wish they would have shown him more often, because he gives me the fucking oogie boogies. But he learns that Malfator was an axe murderer in the home he and Linda now live in, which makes it super weird that they have this giant foreshadowing axe just hanging out on the wall in their apartment. Back home, Linda is in the most random ass naked shower scene I've ever seen in my life. There's no sex in this movie or anything like that, but all of a sudden she's just butt ass naked in a shower, and then Malfator turns the hot water on, and there's just something really fucked up. We've seen this happen in movies before, but in this movie, just the vibe of it and the score and everything, this scene really just creeps me out. The hot water is scolding her and she's trapped, so she has to bust through the glass to get out. And then he possesses her fully at this point, tears up the whole apartment, and then Jim shows up to find her possessed by both Malfator and Panic at the Disco's costume designer. They fight and a lot of shit happens. He breaks the spell by finally being able to tell her he loves her, but then that doesn't work, and the detective shows up and he thinks Jim's trying to kill her. The entire apartment complex is watching, which is totally embarrassing. She explains it's actually him the spirit is using as a conduit, not her, and he almost kills himself before doing the one thing nobody's thought of somehow for the entire running time of this movie, which is to actually damage the Ouija board. So he shoots the Ouija board a handful of times and then inexplicably somehow gets pushed at the same time out of the window, and they do that crazy 80s Hans Gruber scene where he's falling down, and then in a cool camera trick you see his funeral and you're like, oh no, he's fucking dead, man. And then the camera pans around, it's not a funeral, it's their wedding, everybody, yay! And then this old lady cleaning up their apartment, which by the way I guess is somehow not a crime scene. An old lady just picks up the Ouija board, which no one cleaned up from the time that this happened to the time they got married. I don't know. And she's like, oh, I wonder if this thing still works with all these holes in it. Tosses in a box. And in the coolest, one of my favorite, like, last ending shots of a movie, I absolutely adore this movie, you guys. Yes, it has a lot of corny stuff in it, sure, but the passionate overacting and the beautiful and talented Tawny Kitaen and the underratedly gorgeous shots and surprisingly scary moments of the film far outweigh the dumb moments like this one. But there's just a very weird and specific 80s vibe and horror vibe going on for me in this movie, where it's both super entertaining and also super creepy. Witchboard goes on to do 2 more sequels, which I can't remember if I ever watched those ones or not. But yes, we will absolutely do the reviews for those. Everyone has a Ouija story, right? Tell me your Ouija story below. You were the one moving it on your friends and creeping them out, weren't you, you fucking piece of shit? I'm just kidding. You're awesome. Everyone had a good time that day because of you. And they also had nightmares, possibly. So tell me your Ouija stories if you have any below. I love your all's fucking faces, and we will see you soon. I hope you guys have a great day. Halloween never ends, suck my fucking dick, and I don't really care what Blumhouse fucking says. Put him in a box, or suck a fucking cock. You can say he's dead, but we all know he's not, yeah. So let's go trick-or-treating, let's go fucking drinking, let's all go rent Pumpkinhead on VHS, cause Halloween